Hey, so it's been a little while since I've actually talked to you guys. Like, I've posted videos, but it hasn't been me talking, it's been me singing. But this video is gonna be me talking about me singing. So, I mean, it's sort of related. I know on this channel there's a lot of performers and singers and actors and whatever, so I thought that I would share my experience auditioning for Disney with you guys, just in case some of you end up going to the same audition, so you kind of know what to expect. So the other week, I went to the Disney Cruise Line open call audition here in Toronto. Disney Cruise Line normally holds auditions, I think, in like New York, LA, I don't know where else. They always come here though. They're always here. I found this audition through DisneyAuditions.com. They have all the auditions for all the parks and all the cruise lines listed on that site. But I know that for the cruise line, here in Toronto at least, agents submit and Disney brings in people based off agent submissions too. But this wasn't that. This was me going in for the open call. So the way it worked was the open call was at 10 a.m. and registration begun at 9 a.m., 1 hour before the actual call. So like I said, sign-in begun at 9 a.m. and I ended up getting there at around 9:30, so half an hour later. I walked in, there was a whole bunch of people already there. They were sitting on the ground, practicing their songs, jumping, singing, yelling, just a whole bunch of stuff happening. So I had to wait in a line and then sign in with the receptionist. For the sign-in process, we had to have a headshot and resume stapled together. You handed that to the receptionist who was at the desk, and then you wrote your name down on a list. And on this list, each box was numbered. So when you signed in, you were assigned your audition number. My number was 118, and I got there at 9:30. And the total auditionees for that day was 140. So a lot of people got there really early. So my advice to you, if you want to get seen pretty quickly, get there at that hour call, that hour before, so then you can sign in and get a number that's closer to 1 and not closer to 140. So yeah, after you sign in, they told you to go sit down. Once it was about 10 to 10, the casting director came out, who legit looked like Tinkerbell with red hair. Picture Tinkerbell, but with red hair. This was a casting director. She was really nice, super nice. So the casting director came out and said that they were looking for performers for upcoming contracts for the Disney Fantasy and Disney Dream cruise ships. The contracts were going to be for 8 months. You'd be in rehearsals for 2 months in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That's where all the rehearsals are for Disney Cruise Line. They have a rehearsal studio here in Toronto. And then you're on the ship for approximately 6 months. So your full contract is about 8 months, 6 months on the ship, and 2 months off the ship in rehearsals. The casting director said that she was looking for your best 16 bars of a song. On the Disney Auditions website, it said that they were looking for 16 bars, so this shouldn't have been a surprise to you. But that's generally what they want for these auditions, is 16 bars worth of music. And she wanted you to come in with your best 16 bars, and she wanted to be able to feel something she said and see you tell a story. That was her main thing. She said that you could sing a Disney song if you wanted to. She said that you don't have to. There's no obligations to do anything. Just come in with your best. And that's what any audition should be. You should always go in with your best songs to show off who you are and show off your personality. So the way it worked was they brought people in groups of 10 to the hallway, and then obviously one by one in the room. So they would call numbers 1 to 10. Those people would all get up, and then you would go to the hallway to wait, and then they did that. Then they did 11 to 20, and then so on and so on. So for each group of 10, it took approximately, I'm going to say about 15 to 20 minutes for each group of 10. So if you're near the end of the list that day, you can be waiting for a long time. Like I said, I was number 118, and it got to a point where I knew that I wouldn't be seen before lunch. So I asked the receptionist if I could just like escape for a bit, because I had some other things to go do, and then come back. So I went back to the dance studio at around 1:30. When I got back at 1:30, they were only at number, I think it was 82 or something. So from 10 o'clock until 1:30, they had only got through 82 people. And I was number 118 still. So I still had a lot of waiting to do. So as I was waiting in the dance studio, you obviously, because it's the dance studio and everyone's just there, you see people come out of the room from the audition. And what happens is, if the casting director likes you, then she gives you a slip of paper that has, I guess, the role on it and the show that they're considering you for. And then you bring that to the receptionist, and then they give you all the materials or information you need for the callback. So they give out callbacks at the open calls right there in the room. Within 2 seconds of hearing you sing, the casting director will give you a callback. When I was in the waiting room, I think there was 4 people that I saw get called back. 3 of them were guys, and all the guys were all pretty tall. But when I was in the waiting room, one of the guys who was called back, he was called back for a role that wasn't in any of the shows on those 2 ships. So even though they might say that they're looking for performers for just those 2 ships, I think they're pretty much looking for performers for all 4 of their ships. Because, I mean, it's the same casting team, the same productions. The thing with Disney is that they're pretty strict on their height requirements for their characters. I'm about 5'8", 5'9", depending. And you guys know, if you've been subscribed to this channel, I want to be Aladdin, like, really bad. Just in any way possible, I would love to be Aladdin. The only problem is, Aladdin, on the Disney cruise, and I think even in the parks too, he's 5'10" and above. So my shot, realistically, at being Aladdin isn't a real thing, unfortunately, with like Disney standards and height. But it is what it is. But there was other roles that they were kind of looking for that I could have potentially been up for. But now it was finally time for me to actually go in the hallway and wait to be called into the audition room. So the receptionist called numbers 111 to 120. I was number 118. And then they line you up in order of your number. And then the receptionist has your headshots. And once the last person from the previous group goes in, the receptionist goes in, hands the headshots and resumes to the casting director, closes the door, and then the first person of that new group now walks in, and the casting director has all your headshots. When you walk into the room, this is how it was in Toronto, there is one casting director. Now, I know sometimes there's 2 casting directors because I got a slot to audition for Disney Cruise a few years back, and I wasn't able to go. But on the breakdown, it said that there would be 2 casting directors in attendance. This time, there was only 1 casting director, so I'm sure that it depends on what city you're in. They might have 1, they might have 2, they might have 3, they might have 4. Who knows? I don't know. But it was just the one casting director, who's super nice, by the way. And then there was an accompanist on the piano in there. So I walked in the room. I had planned to sing Dancing Through Life from Wicked. I felt that for the roles that they were looking for, there was one show in particular where they were looking for a male lead of the show that was more of like a poppy sort of sound, like a younger sort of poppy sound. So I sang Dancing Through Life. And plus I kind of gave that that charm and swagger that kind of Aladdin has, if they were to consider me for Aladdin. So I thought that was a good song choice. So I went over to the accompanist, I gave him my sheet music, we kind of went through the tempo of the song, he was familiar with the song already, which was great, and then I sang. Now, I should say, while I was there, just from coming back from lunch until me going in the room, there were, I think, 5 people who sang Part of Your World, and 3 guys who sang Go the Distance from Hercules. So my advice to you would be to not go in singing a well-known Disney song. I'm sure that casting director has probably heard those 2 songs like 100 times each. So I would say avoid singing Disney songs, but they don't tell you to not sing Disney songs. So if you want to go in there singing one, I mean, by all means do it. But my suggestion would be to not, but that's just my personal choice. And that's why I didn't go in singing a Disney song. So yeah, I sang Dancing Through Life. I sang it well. I thought I did well. I was happy with it. I was happy with the whole experience. So I was only asked to sing 1 song, but while I was in the hallway and while I was in the waiting room, I heard people sing 2 songs. Now, just because these people were asked to sing 2 songs, they didn't get a callback. So it doesn't really mean anything, but there is a possibility that you can sing more than 1 song. So go in prepared with more than 1 song, because who knows, they might ask you to sing something else. I ended up not getting a callback. Now, I don't know, I would assume that if you don't get a callback from the open call, then they wouldn't even consider you in the future. Like, you'd have to go back for another open call, or if you have an agent, your agent submits you for a role and then you get seen that way. But I did notice she wrote something down on a piece of paper while I was singing. So I don't know if that was like, no, he's not good. Or like, maybe they were taking notes on a possible role that I could play and they're keeping me in mind. I don't know. But from what I think, I don't think you're still in consideration if you don't get a callback. Because you getting a callback from the open call is the same thing as if you went in with an audition slot time from your agent. Because on the receptionist's desk, they had a printout of all the actors who were going in for times. And I guess that was the next day, which were callbacks. So essentially, a callback from an open call is just the audition from a scheduled audition slot from your agent. But then if you have one of those auditions, then I'm sure that you're considered for, I think Disney does up to a year. Because I had a friend who was being considered for a character performer on the cruise ships, and she got to the very last stage, and she was told that she'll be on, I guess, a list for about a year. So I would assume the same happens with the singing auditions, but I could be wrong though. I don't know. These are just my assumptions. So that was the whole Disney Cruise Line audition experience for singers for the cruise line. And I would assume that there's some of you out there who have probably been to one of these calls or is thinking of going to one of these calls, and maybe this kind of, I don't know, clarified some things for you, and maybe you'll go on audition. If you do go to audition, or if you have auditioned before for a Disney Cruise Line or for any Disney park, leave a comment below. Let me know. How did it go? Did you get a callback? Were you considered for a role? I don't know. Let me know. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, click that subscribe button for more videos. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye.